The opening match against Spain, we was fairly lucky to win 7-6 in the end. It was looking like we were going out. Luckily for us, David missed a long 4-ball, and you know, we're stood here now, ready for our next match.
First match was like a thriller. In the first games we didn't play so good. We make some mistakes. We were 5-2 down, but after this we make some important shots. We play better, and we won the match finally.
You need a little bit of luck, and that's what's happened in our first match. Even though I felt we played well, we didn't break good. So tonight we're just looking to break a lot better, and if we do that, then I think we can go all the way.
Of course, England is one of the strongest teams. Both of them are world champions and very good friends of us. And we'll try to do our best against them.
We have confidence, and if we have luck with us, we play good, everything can happen.
Obviously, it's a very tough match. So we know their game's pretty good. We've played them many times. Maybe we've got the slight edge with the head-to-head results, and we're hoping that our experience in doubles and being at home is going to help us tonight.
Well, England A, they scraped through in their last one against India, so they're a bit on borrowed time. They should be able to let those back arms go. They know they could easily be at home watching this event, but they also know, and you heard it from the Greek side, these guys are all pals. They know each other from the European Tour events. A lot of mutual respect, and nothing will be taken for granted. They're taking no prisoners here. All friendships were left in the hallway.
Well, Karl boys involved in the lag. He was in Greece recently playing a challenge match.
Greece win the lag.
Hellas on the back of the shirt.
First rack.
The Greeks are mighty proud, and they would love to progress here. It would be a first if they made the quarterfinals.
Nikos Ekonomopoulos. He has played on the Mosconi Cup team before, a winning team back in 2012. A little more international experience than his countryman, Kazakis. A legal break, and the 1 ball's down. He's got a long look at the 2, but I don't know if it goes. You see the break again. Everybody favoring the cut break, trying to get that 1 into the side pocket. 2 goes.
It's been a remarkable night so far. We've had an escape you wouldn't believe, a whitewash that no one foresaw. Are we going to see an upset to finish things off?
Very good shot. He's left Nikos a long chance at the 3 here. And the 4 is available, I believe, to both bottom corner pockets. But when you're jacking up like that over that distance, you have to be very accurate.
On our player profile sheets, we're giving them out to the players and they're filling them in. Describe yourself in 10 words. The first word that Alexander Kazakis tells us applies to him: nervous. Doesn't bode well. If you're nervous in this environment, you're also vulnerable.
Not as good as he could have done there. Good shot from The man whose nickname goes along with the one-word description, Kazabubu.
Nigel Rees looking over Kazakis' shoulder, making sure no illegal contact is made. It wasn't. I'll tell you what, with that nickname, Jim, hope he doesn't ever move to a certain town in Michigan. Kazakis, Kazabubu from Kalamazoo. That might be too much of a mouthful for anyone.
I was ahead of you on that one. England A.
Attention call.
The number 4 seeds here. Well, 1, 2, and 3 have already progressed to the quarterfinals.
That, Jim, is the kind of shot making we've come to fully expect from the Dazzler. They call him Dynamite. That shot was explosive.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to go through the 8 and 9. Just like that. England A, our 4th seeds, open their account here, bidding for a spot in the quarters. 1-0. Yeah, Karl knew it was in as soon as he hit it, too. He was right behind it.
Had the pleasure of Karl's company in the commentary box last night, and 2 things for me shone out. 1, his knowledge of the game, of course, that goes without question, but also his enthusiasm for it. Yes, he's a professional, but he remains a real enthusiast as well.
Yeah, hails from Blackpool. Karl's girlfriend, Lynette Horsburgh. I've known Lynette for as long as it wouldn't be right for me to mention it, but I can tell you she is also a world champion. She won the world championship for ladies in English 8-ball and was a terrific young snooker player in her own right. And I know Lynette's watching at home, cheering her guy on. Oh, how did that 8 not drop? But it's still pretty useful. 1 onto the 8, but a good break from Karl here. Got that 9 moving a bit too, Phil.
Yes, they seem to have settled, and that's something that England B weren't able to do in our previous match. Had a brief word with Chris Melling and Darrell Peach as I entered the commentary box, and they were both bitterly disappointed, and understandably so.
You know, you almost, from a psychological standpoint, you look at the tale of the 2 matches that we've had this evening. One was 7-6 and, you know, gut-wrenching loss for the Canadian 2. And now you look at the way that Chris and Darrell lost. Which way would you rather be going home?
The way Chris and Darrell lost, because they can't really replay a load of shots and think I should have done this, should have done that. They can't apportion blame to themselves, whereas of course the Canadians with John Morra, he will replay that 8 ball over and over in the cranium.
The psychological aspect of this game for me, Phil, is everything. You know, guys that know how to win, they all have the parts out there, and just separated from the shoulders up.
You get to 17-17 in the final of the World Snooker Championship at the Crucible. You would much prefer your opponent to knock in a red from distance and make a century than to lose 18-17 on the black like Steve Davis did against Dennis Taylor. What was it now? 29 years ago.
Stretching on this. Now, is there a pocket here? Not so sure. Might just slither past the 9. He's a terrific shot maker. Superb fundamentals. You just watch how he delivers that cue every time. That cue barely wavers, no matter the circumstances. For me, that's what stands up under pressure. All those countless hours of practice, you really hone your fundamentals so everything becomes muscle memory. You just get down and you don't have to think about it anymore. You just let it happen.
English pool has never been healthier.
European pool, in fairness. Oh, well, that'll work. Not the conventional way to position. I asked Ted Lerner at the top of the program what impressed him so much, Phil. He said that the amount of young talent that's starting to come forth in the sport. All over the world.
A routine rack, and it goes the same way as the first.
2-0. Confirmed here at the Mountbatten Center. Comfortably, Appleton and boys have seized control of this match. See England's World Cup record to the finals once. Peach and Mark Gray back in 2008. Apart from that, they've never got past the quarters, so
2006, the inaugural event in this World Cup of pool. The O'Sullivan there is a certain Ronnie O'Sullivan, played with Raj Undal.
Legal break, control passes.
he's trying to pop him as hard as he can.
Yes, it was a double whammy for the English, that, an illegal break and a dry one also. Only 2 balls went over the head string, so the Appleton break there, not working.
Overcut it. And he's left it back for England.
You know, I told you that the first word that Kazakis used to describe himself was nervous. Well, he'll be sitting there now thinking, I need to shed myself of that. My partner is also struggling a little. They just need to believe.
Now he's got to be careful here. He's got to try and make sure he's got a path after getting this one to leave his partner the 2 on. That's assuming he got the 1.
And it's that pocket again, the Mora pocket.
Extension call.
Yeah, he wants a little bit more time on this one. But he's got to draw this. He's got to make sure that he stays open to the 2, bottom right. And a mishit here, that 5 will come into play. So he's really got to cue this well. Oh, that's a great shot. Great shot. He had to get it back over to that side of the table.
Another forceful one will be required here to get from 2 to 3.
Boy, that was a good shot, Phil. As well, because the cue ball was near the cushion. And the angle that he had been left, he had to try and draw it up the right-hand side to leave the 3 available. Very good shot from Ekonomopoulos.
The match still in its early days, but you get the feeling this is a very important rack for Greece to win, to establish a foothold. Kazakis reached the final of the Austrian Open on the Euro Tour last year. Contributed when Greece were placed 3rd in the World Team Championship in 2010. There are 4 or 5-man teams there. And so he's had the international experience, although not quite at this level.
Unwanted contact on the 7. Yeah, he was trying to go around it. I don't know. Well, here's my answer. I didn't think he could see enough to make it. So, could kick and still draw this back, actually. Well, you need to hit it a little thicker. That might be a foul. It is a foul. Yeah, ball's got to hit a cushion after contact, and you watch this. He's come off the cushion and hit the 7, and nothing else has made contact with the cushion. That's a foul.
And a present on a silver platter.
Yeah, he had to hit that with a lot more conviction. Well, you were saying how important this rack was, Phil. Now, and England gratefully accept that Christmas present come early. 3-0, they lead Greece. And looking full value right now, England A.
Yes, that quarter-final jigsaw almost complete. Boys in Appleton, full of confidence, feeling good.
Yes, Phil, I think you might have already noted it, but the winner here goes through for a clash against the Americans. And I have to tell you, there has been a little online shtick that's gone back and forth between Team USA and Darren Appleton and Karl Boyce. More accurately between Earl Strickland and Karl Boyce, so that would really set up a mouth-watering prospect.
And they were involved, weren't they, in that controversial Moscone Cup singles clash. So I think the chemistry there will be a little volatile.
That's where it comes from. So, if things proceed as they've started out, still a long ways to go, and you just get a feeling that Greece is going to have something to say about that.
Extension code.
These guys really did survive a scare against Spain in the first round. David Al-Kaidi missing that 4-ball.
Talk about surviving a scare. I was having a chat with the Germans up in the players' room after they got through in unbelievable circumstances against Canada. And I don't think they could quite believe their good fortune. Psychologically, they'd given this up. They thought they were beaten.
Well, so did everyone else in attendance, including
Extension
me.
code.
Alex Pagulayan actually came up to me and said after that he should have gone to Johnny and told Johnny to just make it. But, you know, always easy in hindsight, isn't it, Phil? That would have been a huge win. I don't think Pagulayan ever beats Ralph Souquet in anything.
And I think that's the human psyche, isn't it? We always remember the glaring mistakes, perhaps even more than the brilliance. Because, of course, we're all talking about the missed John Moore 8-ball, but also the key to that match was the 2 that Torsten Homan knocked in with the cue ball deep in the jaws of that top pocket.
Quite possibly the shot of the tournament. Good shot. Good containing shot. He may still be able to get through to this, but a lot of distance. Great shot, cannoning the 4, position up in the air somewhat. Well, haven't looked to see if the 4 goes by the 6. I don't think it does, but possibility. If it does, it might. Oh, he's going safety. Phil, you must have watched the Chinese duo in the last match. They never even thought of safe at no time.
Well, reminiscent of one half of the Chinese pairing who won this tournament twice. There was the very studious Li He-wen, wasn't there? Looked more like a librarian than a pool player. And then the extravagant shot maker Fu Jiangbo.
Yeah, that was a fantastic exhibition of pool playing. Well, that's given Greece arguably their best chance. Everything's in the open. In a clear shot. Mind you, 4 to 5's tricky. He's going to have to jack up and draw this back. This could be the toughest shot they face. No choice here, Nikos. Raise that back end. Tough shot. Not happening for him.
You know, Jim, history is repeating itself. Last year, in the same round as this, the Greeks were beaten 7-1 by Chang Junglin and Ko Pin-yi.
Primely poised to go into a 4-0 advantage. And that's a nice angle. Slide over the right-hand side.
Earlier, England B made a beeline for the exits. Here, England A are in position A.
Phil, I think we can safely refer to them now as just England, seeing as how they're the only team remaining.
Well, as the football fans chant, there's only one England.
And there is now 4-0. Karl Boys, Darren Appleton. And again, a mistake though. Second one from Nikos Ekonomopoulos. You wouldn't expect it from him. He's the elder statesman of the two with experience. And there's the miss. Never easy when you've got to raise the back end of the cue like that. But again, he's such an accomplished player.
I think concisely the storyline so far in this match is English competence combined with a couple of Greek errors, and that's why you see such a one-sided scoreline. England more than halfway to victory.
Rack 5, England to break, leading 4 racks to 0.
Pretty good break. A long, just off straight 2. Well, that was a good shot. Very good shot from Karl.
And again, battle lines are drawn. This match going in just a single direction,
Attention call.
away from the Greeks.
he's got to get back over the right-hand side. You can see Darren just bring it back close to where it is now.
Now this is the kind of shot for a snooker player you'd think, tough for these guys, meat and drink.
You don't even look at this on a snooker table. This is safe all the way. Here, 9 out of 10. Well, it's going to be 5-0, Phil, after 3 more shots. You know, I gave Greece half a chance here for an upset. I certainly thought they'd play a little better than this.
Well, the Ekonomopoulos, as you mentioned, Jim, has represented Europe in the Mosconi Cup. Kazakis, a Euro Tour finalist. But England A all over this.
Yeah. 5-0. We just saw 7-0 prior. And we might well see another whitewash on the cards here.
The Betway World Cup at Pool began in 2006 in Newport, Wales. Lots of different scorelines over the years. Whitewash is thin on the ground. Is it possible we're going to see the 4th whitewash in the tournament this year? And what would be the 3rd today?
Yes, Finland summarily dismissed Poland 7-0. And then we saw,
Thank you, rack 6.
obviously, the
break,
China
leading
7-0
5
just
racks
prior.
Listen quiet then, please.
Well, England's carrying the flag high here. They're making sure one team's going to get their way through to the quarterfinals. Well, it was important that ball went down, because it would have been an illegal break had it not. The lads no strangers to whitewashes. A 7-0 drubbing of Indonesia last year. But Greece presents a little different prospect because they know these guys from the European Tour.
Well, Greece were also the architects of a whitewash in the first round 12 months ago, beating Australia. In danger here, in grave danger of being given a taste of their own unpalatable medicine.
Yeah, this is tricky. This 2 will go, but the 3, position to the 3, the cue ball is going to head over towards those 3 balls on the other side. Well, he's brought it into play. He couldn't get position any other way. What a shot. Watch this shot again. Digging into the cue ball. Couldn't really have worked out a lot better. I think you can tie the ribbon on this one too, Phil. This is going to be 6-0.
We're getting ever and ever closer to that renewal of the rivalry. Boys, Strickland.
just a little short as far as ideal position is concerned. But Darren is such a good player. One of the very best in the game today. And that might well provide Greece with its rack. Long awaited for rack. That wasn't Darren's fault. He's acting like he's played a bad shot. Karl just left him a little out of position and he had to do too much.
It's a lengthy journey back, but this is the first step. Shutout averted. A cheer, maybe of sympathy from the crowd. Greece have one rack on the board, but England still in firm command at 5-1. I think if it was the alternate break format, you'd say no, but with the winner breaks format, maybe a smidgen of hope.
I would agree, Phil, if the table still wasn't breaking. Very difficult. We've still seen so many illegal breaks. It's not breaking. It's just not an easy table to break on. They really have to crunch this. And if you're just joining us, just to remind you, as we see an illegal break, and the one sitting pretty for England, and you can see Kazakis, he's sick. Watch this again.
The wise words of Jim White.
But he's sick. He sees that one going right over the side pocket, and that's how you stem a comeback right in its tracks. But I can tell you 3 balls have to go by the head string. Every ball pocketed counts as a ball by the head string. Here, didn't make the grade.
And you don't need much to change for a table's breaking characteristics to change as well. Always remember that World Cup of Pool in Rotterdam, where up to and including the semi-finals, virtually every break saw at least one ball potted, and then we got to the final, China against Finland, and I think virtually every one was dry.
Thin cut on the 3, but it does take the cue ball up table for the 4. And ensuring to leave a nice angle. Karl will be able to play this with a little left-hand spin as he looks. And his target area is right around where the 7, the brown 7 is.
Extension code.
Yeah, this is the key shot. It's more about position than anything else. Just left-hand spin on the cue ball. Down the left-hand side of the table. 7's the only danger ball. I don't know whether he intended cannoning that. I think he overhit it slightly. But it worked out. He was definitely on the right line.
Yes, and hard to see a faux pas here. I think we're about to see Jim normal service resumed.
to get to the hill and to break for the last time in the match. England secure the 9. Darren Appleton, Karl boys. A 1-rack win from a date with USA.
He's trying to stifle the smile, is Darren Appleton. One of those players who always has a stern game face. The personality of Karl Boys is lighter, and I think that really does help, Darren.
You know, I've known Daryl now for a number of years, and from his days playing English 8-ball, which he dominated along with Chris Melling. And if there's a fiercer competitor on the circuit, I don't know him. That man hates to lose.
World 9-ball champion 2012, 10-ball champion of the world in 2008. For me, though, the crowning achievement was going back-to-back in the US Open in 2010 and 11.
2 into the side. Oh, just about into the side, and that's going to make it a dry break. But the 1 is covered. Yeah, that 2 disappeared in the side. Just look at the position from the cue ball to the 1. The lady would have started warming up the vocal cords. Unless they like kicking at this, they're going to have to push out.
Extension called.
And it's never easy to push out when a ball is in such close proximity to a pocket. So it looks like he is going to kick. It's a very easy kick and should be able to control it nicely. Bump the 1 down table, try and keep the 2 ball there, and ideally use the 2 as a blocker. They've used their extension. So still plenty of time just to settle yourself in and be absolutely sure exactly where you want to contact the cushion here. No good.
Someone in the crowd inadvertently said, "Come on, boys." They were referring to the collective, not the individual, but we know what he meant.
Extension called.
So the Greeks took their extension, the English following suit. They know if this shot goes correctly, they're on the path.
Now if you can just feather this into the side, just float it in, kill the speed of the cue ball, and just hang as close as possible to that side of the table. Leave the 3 into the top left corner.
Jim, playing slow shots across the nap in snooker is a dangerous occupation, as you well know. Is that the case in pool?
Totally different weave on the cloth, Bill. Well, he had tons of room there, actually. It looked like it was a very acute angle, and he couldn't do that. But that was a nice shot, swinging it around the angles.
One of the great sporting moments in recent history for the English was when David Beckham bent the ball into the goal to allow us to qualify for the World Cup in a match against Greece. That was going down to the buzzer. This one has been almost entirely one-sided.
Pulling it right out of danger. You even heard Darren Appleton saying, "Good shot, son." Well, you see Karl Boys, every time he gets down, he looks at his cue. That means he's got a little mark on it, and he holds it the same way every time. A lot of players kind of just twirl it in their backhands. Good shot from Appleton, and this should be it. And it is a convincing 7-1 win. England over Greece. They now complete our quarterfinal lineup, and they will oppose Team USA in the last 8. Round 2 highlights will be coming your way following the break.
Welcome back to Portsmouth, where we've seen contrasting fortunes for the two English teams tonight. England B were whitewashed, but England A were comprehensive in a 7-1 win over Greece.
They've joined me, the boys, very happy, and I guess you must know by now you've just booked an appointment with Earl Strickland and Shane Van Boening.
Yeah, obviously looking forward to the match. Obviously it was in the back of our minds, but we wasn't looking any further than Greece because they're a great team. But luckily for us, like, they didn't play their best tonight, and we played solid, broke better, and just need to just get a better feel with the table, and obviously looking forward to the match with USA.
And Karl, I mean, you couldn't possibly have expected that match to be so easy with Greece. You know these guys, you know they're on the European tour. That could have easily been a lot tougher match, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously to win 7-1, you know, I mean, the start of the match, really, you know, they had a couple of chances and the table sort of caught them out. Like Darren said, it's so slidey, the table, and fast. I mean, Darren's, like, adapted, you know, brilliantly. He's played 2 brilliant matches, like, he were flawless in that match. And I think it just, I think it just caught Greece out a bit. You know, there was a bit, you know, slippery with the cue ball, etc. And, you know, it sort of went our way a little bit.
Did you guys feel like you were under a little bit more pressure when you saw Chris and Darryl go out earlier on?
Yes and no. Obviously, it's disappointing for them, but obviously we've got to focus on ourselves, even though it's like selfish. But I mean, obviously, there's nothing we can do about their result, and obviously we're here to try and win it. Obviously, we knew if we win that match, we're going to play America, and obviously with the Ryder Cup going on right now, obviously we really wanted that match, and we're looking forward to beating them.
Table's still breaking tough too, so still some wrinkles that need to be worked out. Back to the practice table?
Yeah, I mean, the first match we didn't break too good, and for the last 2 days we've put a lot of hours in on it, and we've sort of figured something out. Obviously, because it's slidey, the break in practice still wasn't 100%, but, you know, we're getting a lot better with the break, and I think for the next match we'll break a lot better.
All the best, guys. Again, the quarterfinals, Team USA waits.